So a quick recap of the last session. And anybody correct me if I'm not accurate enough. After some hairy getting to know each other's, and some tension between the party, or the new group of adventurers that's found themselves in this foreign land. The blind sorcerer had done a pretty good job of skinning some wolves, taking some of their meat in their haunches.
Yeah.
And
I
then
forgot about that.
you all ran across some bunny-like creatures with antlers, wings on their back, and beaver teeth. First one hopped out of the woods, and sorcerer was like, "Oh, here's some meat." And then 3 popped out, and then 3 more, and then 3 more. And you guys kind of navigated around these things by placating them with the meat. You then walked through a giant wooden gate that opened in front of you and closed behind you. You walked down another trail, found a dead man on the side of the road, kind of looked over his body, picked up some things, and then proceeded through the open fields of this area, this realm, and ended up getting into a rather harrowing encounter with some scarecrows, where Kelma almost was fallen. And we had ended it with a violent blow through the last scarecrow's neck. I can't remember who left the blow, but I think it was Wicked's character.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Wicked did that.
The party has had some tensions here and there, and nobody's really willing to divulge too much about themselves at the moment, but make sure everybody's turned up real quick. So that way I don't talk over anybody, because I'm an asshole. Boop.
I mean, it's not true.
Oh, thank you. So, where we last left off, the scarecrows had been defeated, and the party was beginning to get back to their rest around this campfire in the wee hours of the morning, getting a few more hours rest before finally waking up and setting off for their day. After you all defeated the scarecrows and looked them over a little bit, they were made of straw. They had sackcloth outfits on, more like shirts and pants almost, but it was just one like potato sack, more or less. It was kind of like covering the torso. The eyes that once glowed red are now completely dull. And you all notice from the bodies and the corpses that each one of them had a rope-like belt around their waist. On the rope-like belt was attached about 5 or 6 dead ravens tied up by their feet into the rope, almost like trophies or some semblance of attire. I believe it was Gaynor who was finishing out the final watch.
So,
So basically, you all have kind of inspected these scarecrows and begin to, if you don't want to have a conversation about it, that's fine. But you begin to go and lay back down as the eventual what we get to. So, but if you want to discuss about the scarecrows, you're more than welcome to.
So is Gaynor's final watch over with, or are we just all waking up now, or?
No. Y'all are about to go back to bed for another like 2.5 hours, and Gaynor's going to finish out the watch.
Okay.
so we can complete the night.
What's that?
So we can complete the night.
Yeah. Right now it's about like 3:30 in the morning, kind of thing. Like it's still dark.
So it sounds like everybody's just going back to bed after the fight.
I'm exhausted. So
I also am, yeah. And I'm disappointed in the fact that I missed my fire blast.
You also got scared out of your willies.
I did, yeah. I did get petrified, yeah. So I think I'm just gonna heart racing lay down and go back to bed.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So as you all tuck back in and try and get the last remaining hours of your rest, Gaynor. you doing
So I'm on my last watch. Everybody's like laying down asleep.
Yeah, at this point it's been about 30 minutes or so. Everybody's kind of passed out.
I want to try and get the letter from Nim's character and read that.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
How do you want to do that?
Drama.
Well, I need to get.
I'd say make a sleight of hand check. Nim, what's your passive perception? It's 13.
13.
All right. Make a sleight of hand check, big guy.
Damn it!
You should have seen that one coming.
As you reach and try and like sift through Branwen's pack, which she's keeping very close to her, you kind of rustle and make a bit too much noise. Give me 1 second. Let's see. Yep. And as you're kind of like trying to find the letter in the pouch, Branwen, you kind of like roll over,
I'm doing great.
and one of your eyes kind of like just like pops open for a brief moment.
Am I staring at him?
Currently, yes. Yes, you are.
I wouldn't do that if I was you.
Can I attempt to intimidate her to give me the?
Make an
Wow,
intimidation.
you're going
check.
to attempt to intimidate the only woman in the party while she's half asleep?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
What you deserve.
Oh, god damn it. All right.
Not only are you not at all intimidating to this woman who's now giving you this cold glare, while you're still kind of trying to rift through the pack a little bit. Yeah, she is not intimidated by your statement to try and let you have the letter. And you hear a voice in your head. You might want to back off, buddy. Might not be such a good idea with this one.
I'm fine. I'd back off.
She just smiles at you as you do so, and you see her. She's and revealing her teeth, and you actually notice that she actually make a perception check.
Yeah,
See
make
if
a
you
perception check.
notice.
Yeah.
There we go. Finally, good numbers.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Wow. That's a perfect perception check. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah. Do you want to?
Yep, I got it.
Cool.
Hold on.
What?
Silence.
What to say?
The
It's like,
silence, indeed.
I'm
Sorry.
guessing it's a secret.
Whispering. Apologies.
Whisper. Okay, gotcha.
Apologies. And you kind of step away and continue your watch.
I think that's it. I'm
I
just
roll
gonna...
over and pull my pack just a little bit closer.
That's it? That's all you're doing?
Yeah.
All right. So a few more hours pass, and the next morning comes. You all sitting around a now basically burnt out campfire. You have the road in front of you. It's probably about 1.5 miles, maybe 2 miles to the which you noticed to be a village when you crested one of the hills. And you can see a little bit of smoke coming up off the ridge from the direction of the village.
Kelma kind of does a little jump to his feet from the ground, stretches up for a bit, and just starts gathering up the strings and the bells that he put on his makeshift alarm system.
Yep. And you grab all that stuff and pack it back up and get it good to go.
As he's doing that, Lamb is going to I'm gonna make a sort of a quick morning prayer, and gather up my things.
Okay. All right. Can I ask who you're praying to? Or are you just praying?
Wait, time out. Can I do like I guess a history check to see if I can tell who he's praying to? Or do you not even know at all?
It's sort of just like it's not even really like you would need to sort of do a check. It's sort of just to my order.
Okay,
It's sort of
Okay.
yeah.
I
It's
got you.
yeah.
Okay.
So like because part of um my character sort of says is that uh my mannerisms of my character are like very weird and different. Like you can't not look at it, kind of thing. And how I'm praying wouldn't be like a normal prayer. It wouldn't be just like I'm, clasp my hands and sort of,
He's doing
but
like a Indian
I'm
chief ritual dance. No.
fire dancing, sort of like walking around in circles almost. No, yeah. It's sort of just almost like a Buddhist style,
Hmm.
and it's
Yeah.
quick.
As you make your prayer and kind of gather up your stuff, everybody kind of puts their things in their packs and wraps up their bedrolls, gets themselves ready to get back on the road. Are we pushing forward to the town, going down to the river, or back to the forest?
Yes.
Well, I want to push forward to the town.
Yeah, I'm just Kelmon is
not?
in his usual way stands up, looks at the party as he's kind of doing his morning stretches, calisthenics, and he's just like, "Sun's up, let's go." I guess.
All right.
Who wants to come?
Sun's out, guns out.
Give me a marching order, 3 ranks.
I'm taking the back.
I'm gonna be like,
And having no one behind me with their sticky fingers.
That's odd.
I'm gonna be like mid.
I also am going to be in the mid.
I'm gonna be kind of in the front-ish.
Wait,
Where would you like to be? If this is the direction of front.
I'll be like right here.
Okay. So, as you all continue walking down the trail, it winds and it weaves over more and more hills. Can I get Kelma and Trovik to make a perception check for me, please?
Okay.
Being as y'all are in the front now, I just tied my cord around my microphone.
That's about right. That's still like pretty much Wicked's here.
I mean, Blue, can you roll a perception for me?
Already did. She rolled a
Yes.
The Minotaur's a man of few words.
5.
Oh shit, I didn't see it. I'm sorry, it didn't show up on mine for some reason. Okay. So Kelma, as you all are walking down this path, there are some trees here and there. And you do notice that there are 2 ravens perched in one tree. And about 10 or so minutes down the road, you see in another tree far off, there's another raven perched. They
Okay.
just seem to be sitting on branches, not cawing, just being completely silent.
And
One of them almost looks like it's watching the party.
Gotcha. And you said there was ravens attached to the scarecrows, right?
Yes.
Okay. I just kind of mentioned to the party, I'm just like, there's a lot of all these weird ravens around, and there's the same type that have been on those weird straw things. I'm feeling a bit uneasy about this. What do you guys think?
How far away are they from us?
15, 20 feet. They're just trees that are off on the side of this muddy path or
I can't-
cobblestone path.
I cast detect magic and I like investigate them.
I
Okay.
also am going to detect magic.
Okay, you both cast detect magic. Are you focusing on the same raven, different ravens? There's 3 of them in total. So.
The one specifically like looking at the party is the one I'm interested in.
Yes.
Okay. As you detect magic, both of you take the time, channel your spells. Does not appear in any way, shape, or form magical.
Okay. Can I
You
use
sense no magic coming
my
off the ravens that you sense?
animal handling to maybe investigate why they're so interested in us then?
Make an animal handling check.
Yikes.
They're just very
Natural one
Wow.
with
Interesting
my with my +1 animal handling. I just very bad roll.
yeah. And as you guys kind of like focus on the two ravens that are in the tree, one of which is looking at you, one of them flies off down past the river to the south and just kind of flies off, and the other one just kind of sits in the tree, cocking its head back and forth and just looking in y'all's direction, then looking off again.
I'm gonna run up. I'm gonna run up that tree, and try to perch right next to the raven and see what the raven does.
Make an athletics check or an
'Cause
acrobatics
I-
check.
Just watching this happen with amazement, like
Yeah, because I'm like, because I'm sitting there like this raven's being really creepy, and I'm just gonna run up to it and see what this thing is. Oh, not that great.
Not that
As
great.
you start to scuttle up the tree, and it's this tree, by the way. As you start to scuttle up the tree, you grab onto one or two of the branches and you shake the branch, and almost immediately the raven flutters up and flies away, flying off past and out of sight over the direction of the town.
I just kind of,
All right, well,
I just kind of snort a little bit and then just hop down.
As this whole thing has happened, and the monk has literally climbed a tree to perch next to a raven that flew off. You guys continue for another 20 minutes or so, and you see, even though it's still misty and the sun isn't clearly out in the sky, you see some tall shapes that seem to loom out of the dense fog that's around the perimeter of this field. You recognize these as thatch roofs and village dwellings. You all approach the entrance to this town, which basically up the white cobbled road, you get to it and you can kind of look in. It's almost like a palisade fence around the town. It's nothing strong or structurally sound. It's just a clear perimeter of where the town's border is. As you walk somewhat into the beginning portion of the town, we will get to this map because maps.
Maps are fun.
Because maps.
Map.
Hey, that's a town.
That is a town.
Need to read
And
it.
you all are about here-ish. We're at the party now, so
I
you are.
didn't see that at all.
What's
you
that?
are group.
We are group. We are legion.
The red dot? Okay.
Yes.
We could be torch.
You could be torch.
The thing is, y'all don't have control of group. I do. So
Oh,
y'all can't be group. Sorry, because I did not set this right. So we will do this now because music and things.
Yay.
Music and things and stuff.
Okie doke. As you walk down this main road of the village, you notice a discernible lack of people and persons wandering about the town or in the streets.
Ooh.
The windows of each house stare out from pools of blackness. The tall houses of the village are as dark as tombstones. The town is mostly quiet, and no sound cuts the silence, except for a audible, mournful sobbing that seems to echo throughout the streets as you walk.
Well, this is depressing.
I just nod over and I agree. And Kalma just takes a deep breath of the area and just kind of I want to do a perception. Like, is there anything other than what you described? Anything like very sticking out? Like any people or a place that looks like anything that looks like an inn?
Perception check.
Sure.
I also use my keen sense of smell to see if I notice why everything's so black.
Okay, perception 18. Make a perception check. It has started raining, so I will say with disadvantage because the smell of rain is kind of cloudy.
Wow, just the sound effects just started raining. Jesus, come on.
I mean, it started raining.
No, no,
I mean, you're the
when
one who
you
chose
entered
not
the
to have
town,
eyes.
but it was 58 seconds ago when I started the track, so it's good to know that it just started
Oh,
for you
wow.
guys.
I mean, you did disadvantage.
Not bad.
Okay, so Kelma first. As you all are walking through the town, you notice there's only a couple of buildings that are actually like producing smoke from a fireplace. And they seem to be down this road in a general direction kind of in front of you. And Lamb, using your bloodhound nose, that we've now figured out is a bloodhound nose, the smell is... You don't really get a sense of why everything's so bleak and glum here, but... It doesn't smell like a lived-in town, if that makes sense. Like, you know from being in a town that was somewhat sizable that, you know, usually there's the smell of manure from a horse-drawn cart passing by or something like that. You know, maybe the smell of something cooking from a house or something. And you don't get any of that sense. You don't smell any of that life of a town.
Is it that everyone's is this sort of bleakness new, or is it that this town is sort of
You don't know.
Okay.
But you do see, as the party kind of continues down the main road, and you hear a wailing and a sobbing throughout the town. The rain becomes much heavier, and the droplets strike down like cold bullets, and a little bit of a heavy fog kind of rolls around the perimeter of the town. Apologies. Scrolling. In front of you, down the main road here, you see two larger buildings as you kind of like get to this point. You see a building here and a building here, both of which have smoke coming out of their chimneys. Everybody in the group make a perception check for me.
Boom.
Boom.
Good job, Trovic. That is totally wicked and not blueness.
Thanks, man.
And okay, so Trovic, you notice most of the houses are boarded up, like the windows boarded up with panels and planks of wood from the inside. A few of the houses on the left and right have their doors completely open or knocked ajar, and there just doesn't seem to be any life from those houses. You notice as you guys get a little bit closer that this particular building has a sign out front, and so does the other one as well. The building to the south reads Bildreth's Mercantile, and you can see that clearly from this intersection. You can't quite read the sign on the northern building from this angle, and however you do hear the crying coming from this direction. The mournful sobbing gets louder as you approach closer.
Do we know what the other building, or do you know what the other building says, or did you see that?
The sign's a little bit far off to see, but if you go up and inspect it, you can clearly see that it is a tavern of sorts. It is a tavern, and the sign reads Blood on the Vine Tavern. So I'd say y'all are about in the center of the town square at this point. What would y'all like to do?
I would like to go to the tavern and talk to the bartender.
I'm gonna
Or see
look.
what's going
I'm
on
gonna
there.
look down here where I heard the. I'm not gonna go down there, but I'm just gonna look down the pathway and see if I can see what the crying might be about.
You look down the street. You do not see anyone or anything on the street, but you can hear the wailing and the sobbing. but you don't see anything now. Okay. And Gaynor, you said you wanted to go into the tavern. Is anybody following?
I'm going in as well.
Quickly, so the crying and the sobbing and the wailing it's just happening. There's nobody visibly.
There's nobody visibly crying. You can just hear it from somewhere in this part of town, if that makes sense. So like it might be from here, might be from over here.
I'm going to take 6 or 7 steps in the direction and see if I can ascertain if anyone is doing it sort of, I want to say visibly, but my character doesn't see anything. So
yeah, I mean, you can step in that direction. You hear it and you discern that it's coming from a building in this area, like on this side of the street, if that makes sense. You're not sure which one or exactly where it would be because you can't see, obviously. You're probably just past, you're probably honestly standing like right here just past the mercantile place. Of course, you wouldn't see that or know that. You kind of just stumbled down the street. But
okay.
Yeah, you can hear it coming from, God, I wish y'all could just see my cursor to be so much easier, from that direction. It's somewhere in, that's what I can do because I'm so smart. I'm the smartest. It's coming from somewhere in this area.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey.
Okay.
The box.
I mean,
that's the best you can discern from hearing it or trying to hear it. What's the play?
me and them, we're going to the tavern.
Right. You guys go to the tavern. Is anybody else following to the tavern? Or are we staying outside? What are we doing?
I'm actually just kind of hanging back, looking at Lamb, because kind of like him, I'm a bit concerned about the crying, but at the same time, I'm just trying to keep eyes on where everyone's going.
Yeah. So just the second before they walk into the tavern, I'm sort of loosely following behind them into the tavern. I'm gonna shout and say, what do I say?
What do you say?
Is everyone all right?
I just look over to the Lamb and just kind of just give like a quick nod, and I walk towards the tavern, but just kind of keep my eye down the hallway, down that road.
Just
Not
nodded
a
at the
blind
blind man.
They
What was that?
You just nodded at the blind man.
Oh,
It's all good.
yeah.
the
Hey, it's hard to
crying,
get a person around you, right?
the crying, wailing people don't seem to acknowledge my voice, so I'm just gonna head into the tavern.
Yeah, no response came from anywhere when you asked, is everybody alright? Okay.
What's Wicked/Blue doing?
What is
Following you.
Okay. As you approach the tavern and you begin to walk in, you notice that on the sign itself, originally you read the words "Blood on the Vine Tavern," but you see that where it used to be an F has been scratched out and made an N. It was originally called Blood of the Vine Tavern. Seems to have been scratched out with a simple carving knife or something like that.
Interesting.
As you walk into this well-sized tavern, it's about 60 feet square. The interior is a little bit rustic, a little bit run down. Some of the beams that support the ceiling are visibly cracked. There's a blazing fire in the hearth, and it gives a scant warmth to a few huddled souls within the tavern. As you all walk in the door, you see a table to the right-hand side of you where 3 females are sitting and just kind of drinking a little bit of wine and having a conversation amongst themselves. They're kind of huddled well together. You notice the barkeep sitting behind the counter. He's wiping out and cleaning out glasses. And then there seems to be a man sitting at the bar, drinking heavily.
Okay. I walk up to the bar where the bartender is and the man drinking heavily bar.
Okay.
I take the note I have out of my satchel, I guess, and slap it on the table. And I just like pronounce the bartender like, "You, I'm looking for this man. Let's see, what's his name? Yeah, I can't say that."
I believe the name you're looking for is Kolyan Indirovich.
Yeah, Kolyan and Darovich. Where can I find this man?
The pudgy man behind the bar. He's human. Doesn't seem to respond or acknowledge in any way, shape, or form. He's just kind of cleaning the glasses, kind of looking straight forward ahead. Kind of looks over in your direction. "Oh, would you like a glass of wine, my friend?" But doesn't seem to acknowledge the question you asked at all. You see most of the glasses that he has stacked are cleaned, and he's kind of finishing up the last 2 or 3 right now. But however, when you do say the name Kolyan Indirovich, the man sitting at the bar kind of cocks his head and looks over towards you. 1 second, I will show you what he looks like, because things and stuffs. That thing is not what I need. I need that thing. Oh wow, that is not a thing either. What a piece of shit. Okay, well, we will get there eventually. Yeah, so he kind of cocks his head and looks over. He's also drinking a very full glass of wine. Where is this at? Wow, I need to not have 1,000 tabs open. These are the issues. You see this man. He's kind of sitting, pulling over his wine. He looks over at... "You're looking for a Kolyan? He... What business would you have with him?" Kind of curiously concerned that you're looking for Kolyan. Never seen this guy before. He kind of straightens up his demeanor a little bit. He's like, I apologize for asking. Let me start over. Come join me for a drink." And he kind of looks over to the bartender. "Attic, bring me one of the finest bottles of the Great Mash, please." And he kind of looks over in your direction, Gaynor. He's like, I can very well tell that you," and he kind of looks over at the rest of the party, "and your compatriots are not from these lands. Forgive me for asking, but what has brought you to the humble village of Barovia?"
We were just passing through, I say, coming up to him and reaching my hand out. "My name is Gwen."
He grabs your hand and shakes it. "Pardon me, ma'am, but one does not simply pass through Barovia, for better or worse." And he kind of just like looks down at his glass of wine as Eric the barkeep comes back with presumably 5 more glasses if you're all in the tavern, and puts the bottle down in front of Isak or the gentleman, and begins to go back to cleaning the glasses. He now picks up the clean glasses and begins staring ahead blankly once again and just wiping out glasses. The gentleman... Do you all sit down, I guess, is my question. Because he's invited you all to sit and have a drink.
If he's leading over the table, I'm following.
I mean, I'm definitely sitting down. I need information.
Okay. May I ask, who are you? And then I would happily introduce myself.
They call me Gaynor.
Well,
I'm here to find the man's wife, love of his life. Letter doesn't describe exactly.
you mentioned a letter. He kind of looks over the rest of the group.
Yeah.
Sorry?
I already slapped the letter down, so
Right. No, he's seen it, but he didn't open it or look at it. He said, you keep mentioning this letter. And he kind of reaches over and slides it away from you. He opens it for a moment and reads it. Well, this does not bode well. He's kind of like now looking over the letter in greater detail. Is anybody else doing anything at this moment while he reads it?
I'm just watching intently.
I am going to enjoy some wine.
Okay.
I took a seat at one of the empty tables, kind of like my back is at the wall, and I'm doing the whole just sitting there, just kind of watching everybody type of situation. Just
Absolutely. And make a perception check for me. Kilma, since you're watching everybody.
okay.
And he finishes kind of reading over the letter.
System again. There he goes. Yeah.
7.
I'm not watching very intently. Okay.
Other than seeing the bartender now go over the clean glasses again, and the ladies in the corner sipping wine and just kind of laughing amongst themselves, you don't recognize anything out of the ordinary, or anything interesting particularly.
The system's like double rolling.
He kind of finishes reading over the letter. He's like, well, I don't believe I've introduced myself. I am Ismark. I am Ismark Kolyanik. Kolyan was my father. I do not know how you came about this letter, but the script is not of his. It's his name, to be sure, but this is not how he wrote. The markings on the page are all off. He also did not have a wife that was living. My mother, she passed some 6 years ago. I am truly sorry that this has befallen you, Gaynor.
You said he was your father. Is he alive or dead? Is he alive or dead?
He was alive until about 2 days ago. He had a heart attack in our residence, and he passed. He could not bear the strain anymore. He just kind of like sits and drinks heavily from his wine at this point, just kind of thinking to himself. I'm truly sorry that you have come all this way to this forsaken land.
I'm being told something's not right here. I've been told something's not right here. What happened? Was it ever, or was it always like this?
It's been like this for nearly 423 years. There's a devil that haunts these lands. The people suffer, and no one has been able to rid this land of its plague. We've been dealing with this for centuries. Well, you're here now. Maybe there's yet something you could do. I am saddened that you were brought under false pretenses, but maybe it is a blessing in disguise from the Morning Lord. He kind of chuckles to himself. Who am I kidding? The Morning Lord has long forsaken our people.
I kind of just look away at that point.
Okay. Is anybody else doing anything?
I'm gonna continue drinking the wine.
I'm gonna get up from my little corner, and you said there was a group of ladies, right?
Yes, 3 of them.
Three of them. I'm just gonna walk up to them and just kind of in Kalma's blunt way, just go, "Hey, ladies, where's the nearest town? I'm lost. Just trying to get out of here."
The nearest town. One of them kind of pipes up, the lady with long flowing black hair. The nearest town is, well, you're in the town. It's this humble, quaint little place of Barovia. Past the far gate is the larger town of Valaki, and Kresk is somewhere off in the distance, but well, in these lands we don't travel from town to town too often. It can be a tad bit dangerous. She kind of just smiles. As she smiles, you notice that she's missing a few teeth. She has some gold and some silver, but they're not all original. And she is wearing an adorned amount of jewelry.
Gotcha. I just kind of go like, well, I just kind of look at the ladies and go, well, you might not be able to travel to town, but there must be some trade outside this land. Where's the road that we could just start heading out of these lands and get out of this weird fog?
She kind of cackles and laughs a little bit. Nobody gets out of these weird lands, save the Vistani. They have a camp just outside of town, down the road a ways. If you're willing to pay them a visit, they may be able to point you in a useful direction. Though help you, I don't think they'll be able to. You never know. She kind of smiles wryly and goes back to her wine.
Why?
And the other two kind of giggle a little bit.
And I just kind of... Kelma's not one for pleasantries. He kind of puts his hands on the table and goes, all right, why will they not help me? Are they bandits? Are they... What's going on? If I'm going to go someplace, I want to know what I'm walking into.
Make an intimidation check.
Yeah, it's kind of intimidation. This is kind of like the stop the BS ladies kind of.
Make an intimidation check for me.
Sure. Oh man, that's like the one thing I'm not good at. Oh, never mind.
As you put your hand down on the table, it kind of makes an echo throughout the bar itself. The lady kind of cocks her head a little bit in your direction. In a rather rude manner, she responds that they will probably not help you because they cannot help you. They are allowed to leave.
Allowed by whom?
Oh, she says. She kind of chuckles and Just you'll find out soon enough.
I at that
Clear
point,
you are not from these lands.
at this point, I'm just highly annoyed, and I just kind of like grumble and just like go back to my little corner, and I slam my quarterstaff on the ground just to just to show everyone I'm kind of in a bad mood right now.
Yep, that's fair. Okay. Is anybody else doing anything at this moment? Is this kind of like mulling?
While he was off talking to the women,
Yes.
I'd like to turn to Isma. This may seem like a strange question. Do you have a sister?
Indeed, I do. My sister, Irina. How do you know of her?
I put my letter on the table and slide it towards him.
As he opens up the letter, I will now show you all both letters because now they're out on the table for everybody to see. So,
Hey, finally, the thing that I wanted to know from before.
I mean, yeah, the thing you can't read.
No, I know that's the thing. Like, I can't see it.
sorry,
right?
give me 1 second, guys. I do apologize. So this was the letter that was given to the entire group, and it's written in not shitty scroll down at the bottom. And this is the letter that Branwen found on the body. Also written in not shitty scroll at the bottom.
I don't see the first letter.
Don't
Yeah.
see the
I
first-
also don't.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see the letters.
Really?
How dare you, sir, tell you give us things and we don't have them.
Yeah, I know. It's like, finally, here's the letters. Psych.
There we go. Alright, sorry. Now it should be in everybody's journal. That's not that. What is that? That's the wrong letter. That's Nim's letter that's in everybody's journal. And let me put this one in everybody's journal so that way it's just there. Okay. They should both be in your journal now.
Yeah.
Sorry for anybody. I hit show people and it didn't show people, which is fucked up. As you hand your letter over to Ismark, he kind of looks it back over and reads it over. He's like, now this is a letter I recognize. My father, he penned it and gave it to a young man named Olan. I assume that Olan must have completed his task if you found it. He was supposed to nail this to the outer gate, trying to warn people to not venture into this land. But yes, Irina is my sister. She has
I'm
been...
afraid he didn't complete his task. We found him dead between here and there.
Damn that devil. Well, this does not bode well at all. Well, you're here. I guess you might as well be told what plagues this land. For hundreds of years, there's been a devil or a demon that has lived among us. He has haunted my family specifically. We are almost positive that this is why my father has passed. He could not deal with the stress and the strain anymore. My sister Irina seems to be one of the focuses of his lust. The house had been attacked for days and days until my father passed away, and since then the house has not been attacked and it's been very quiet. scrolling. The Morning Lord, he used to watch over our people until the devil came and forsake these lands. Once the devil took over and began to rule, these strange mists and fogs came in and surrounded these lands.
Strange fog. Interesting. Tip
Oh,
my
yeah.
wine glass to the party and sort of give them a side nod.
While he faces the wall.
Okay. Yeah, he then goes into a much more somber look on his face, as if he's recanted this to people before. It's not the first time he's given this statement. The fogs themselves, they do not allow anyone from the valley to leave. Many have tried. Many have died. Any who attempt to exit through the fog will end up back where they started, or in the same realm. It seems whatever has cursed this land has trapped us here.
That's
My
odd.
sister-
Why would he send for us then?
Sorry?
That's odd. Then why would he send for us? Why would he entrap us and drag us here?
You sadly are not the first adventurers to have wandered into this land. I do not know why the devil summons, but it's clearly not my father's handwriting on the note that you had received, Gaynor. I can only imagine that the devil himself may have pinned it, or one of his agents or mercenaries. He kind of like strokes his chin a little bit, and his face is already gauntly white, but he's just kind of I fear for my sister's life. She's a strong woman, but she is also the focus of the desire of this creature. I do not know if I can be of any help to you all to try to escape the fate that this land bestows upon people, but I know that you had come to complete a mission of sorts. I would offer you a task if you would be willing to take it. I need to get my sister Irina as far away from this town as possible. Preferably to the town of Valaki, or even further away to the village of Kresk, but I cannot do it by myself. Now that our father is dead, there's almost nothing left for us here. And he's just kind of like, he's now into at least a quarter of this bottle of wine at this point. For some reason, this devil is attracted to her and will do anything to get his hands on her. However, I have it on good authority that Valaki is well defended and far beyond the gates of the demon. The letter is true that there is much wealth entrusted in this land. All of it is yours if you could potentially save us from our fate. I myself have a little bit of wealth at our mansion, at our manor. I would be happily willing to pay if you could help escort myself and Irina to Valaki. and get her away from this place. But you all are foreigners in this land as well. I cannot simply ask you for these favors. Though you may not be here of your own will, you are indeed here. And like many adventurers before you, you are part of the land now. Would you aid me?
It's not
mean,
what I
yeah.
came for, but yeah.
Uh,
As long as there's
I
something
guess.
in it for me, I'm down.
Wonderful. This is blessed news. And he looks over at the barkeep again and just kind of chucks in whatever coinage was needed for the bottle of wine. Continues to pour the glasses until the bottle of wine itself is poured out and gone as you all continue to drink. Do you have any questions for Ismark at this time?
Well, you said the Valaki is where that's the town that he wants us to take his sister to, but that's also the place that those ladies mentioned, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Same place.
Same place. So I'm just gonna kind of, because I've been sitting there listening
Right.
in the corner. I'm gonna just sit up. I'm just gonna walk to the table and I'll look the guy and I go, "These Valaki, according to these so-called women," and I point my staff at the three ladies who are rude to me. He goes, "They're not gonna help us. How? How?
Clarification real quick.
What?
So you have a note. The Vistani are a race of people
Oh, okay.
that are in between Barovia and Valaki.
Oh.
Valaki is a town outside of the border.
Oh, okay. Because I thought, okay,
Because now I understand the question. I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
No.
gotcha.
Valaki different than Vistani.
Okay. So, the Vistani are just a group of people.
Right.
Gotcha.
Traveling traders and things like that. They have a campsite slightly outside of the town.
All right. So then in that case, I just walk up, kind of do the same-ish thing, but I basically say so if we do this, I've heard of something called the Valaki. These ladies said that they may not help us. Or was it Vistani?
Vistani.
The Vistani. These ladies may not be able to help us. They may not be able to help us in our goals. Are they dangerous? These ladies kind of laughed when I asked.
Some of them can be swindlers. Some of them are good people. They tend to bring goods from outside lands to Barovia. They keep our trade flowing in a way. Not all are bad, but the same can be said with humankind. Not all are good, not all are bad.
I just kind of go, oh, so they're just traitors, and I look at the ladies, and just kind of like this annoyed look again, and I just kind of take a seat closer to the table.
Okay. Yeah. So, I now know Gaynor here. Who are the rest of you? He kind of looks over to the rest of the group.
I'd already introduced myself.
I know you did.
Cool.
I'm not worried about you.
My name's Lam Lam. My name's Lam Lam, and I raised my now empty wine glass.
He kind of reaches for the bottle and fills you back up. As he
Appreciate it.
says, well met.
I just lean back in my chair and go, they call me Kelma.
Very well met as well. And your tall friend over there, and kind of looks over in Trovik's direction.
Oh man.
You can sound like Blue. You're fine.
You
We
don't have
understand.
to-
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to be wicked.
He just nods and says Trovik.
Okay.
That's not
Once again.
Trovik.
It's not.
An imposter.
Get him.
It's very rare to see your kind here in these lands, but you seem very, very strong, and we may need all the strength we can get. Kind of tips back into the wine once more, as the bottle's almost empty at this point. And
Run right through.
sorry, reading something. Okay. Yeah. So if nobody else has any questions for him or the area, we can kind of move on. But if you want to know anything, you can ask at any point, of course. So as you all finish off the bottle of wine, he kind of stands up from the table and says, "Oh, well, we best be off to the manor itself. We need to attempt to gather Irina and make preparations to set off for Valaki." Again, I'm terribly sorry for why you have been summoned here. And again, I don't know why groups of adventurers keep showing up. I just know that none of them have made it back so far.
Can I insight him real quick? Just see if I get a feeling that he's being actually truthful about everything.
Sure. Make an insight check.
19.
Forthcoming as ever. He's
Okay.
You notice in your insight check, trying to look him over and down, he's being completely transparent. He does seem very worried and a little bit shaky. Like he's a meek man, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Not confident in the words that he speaks, but he is speaking them truthfully.
Okay.
Does he know anywhere where we could possibly get like supplies or wares before we leave?
Well, yes, there's Bildreth's down the street a little bit from here, but I will say he's a very stingy man. You can always go and shop. He's happy to sell, but he does not budge on his prices. We can swing by there first if it would be beneficial. And he kind of stands up, goes over to the coat rack that's near the door and grabs his gray cloak and kind of throws it on over his shoulders, noticing that it's raining outside. Shall we be off then?
Question, DM.
Yes.
I know you put the letters in everyone in the party inventory, but
Yes.
did everyone read them?
Yes, I did.
Did chats and things get them read?
Yep.
If that makes sense.
Cool.
I can read them out loud if we want to. But...
No, it's
that's
just
Yeah.
because of it mentions vampire in mine.
It
I was
does.
also going to ask, what does my character know about vampires?
Are you asking? I guess you'd be asking me, the GM, not Ismark's guy, right?
I'm asking you as a DM.
Okay. You know these creatures exist, mostly in lore and legend. There have been tales of vampires feeding on and ruining entire towns in the realms you come from, but they are tales, if that makes sense. Like, you're aware that there probably some truth to the tales, if that makes sense. You know that people have... Sorry, 1 second, I have a page for this. I just gotta scroll.
As well, because I would have done some research.
Yeah, no. You know that A typical vampire needs to rest in its coffin during the day, or as much you know. At night, a vampire who's entrenched in an area can summon creatures to do their bidding. You've heard of vampires turning into bats. You also know that a vampire is normally restricted by not being able to enter a residence without proper invitation from one of the occupants.
All right, so we're gonna
that's
have
good now.
gonna have like code words to invite each other for the time being, right? That way we
What?
can't get vampires inside.
Well, I mean, as long as we don't know the person, just don't let them in.
I was about to say that was
I mean-
her personal knowledge. Like that's what she would know about
Yeah.
vampires. I don't know if she's proclaimed that to the group. I just didn't want to type it out. It's wasting a lot of time. But yeah, that would be the stuff that Branwen would know personally.
Okay.
That's player knowledge, not character knowledge.
Player knowledge, right?
No. Yeah. For
Well,
you.
yeah,
guys.
yeah,
Correct, yeah.
yeah, it's character knowledge for her. As you all kind of exit the tavern with Ismark, Kelma, as you're passing by the table of ladies, two of them kind of look in your direction and just smile wryly as you continue on out of the tavern.
I slam my quarterstaff when I walk by the table as loud as I can to see if I could just like startle them.
Wow.
Okay. You slam your quarterstaff,
Almost kind of a dick.
and one of them is a little bit startled. Not really startled, a little bit startled. Give me one second. I apologies.
Instant jokes.
What time is it right now? Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Kelma, as you exit the tavern, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw for me.
Sure.
Okay. You feel a little bit of a tingle down your spine, but you shake it off as you exit the tavern. And you all are back out in the center plaza. Ismark begins to lead the group down this direction towards a shop that now clearly reads Bildreth's Mercantile. He kind of looks over, he's like, if you wanted to shop, this is one of the only places in town that's open to sell wares.
If only I had some money.
If only.
And I have money.
Go into Bildreth's Mercantile?
Hell yeah.
Okay. As you enter, this room, singular room, shop is about 70 feet long and about 40 feet wide. There's a hunched over human male with graying hair. He's kind of sitting behind a desk. Oh, hello there. Welcome to Bildreth's. Yeah. All the things you need at all the right prices. He kind of smiles with a wry grin as he looks in your direction. What can I do you for?
Good day, old man. I'm looking for some equipment.
Second. This is going to be a pain in the assy. What are you looking for?
Armors and such.
Afraid we don't have any of those here. I've got your general supplies and
Okay.
a few fancy things, but
Fancy things.
not a blacksmith.
What fancy things you got?
I have, he kind of reaches under the counter and picks up a small red vial, or a small vial with red liquid in it, and he kind of sets it on the table. Well, I have this. It's a little bit of a pick-me-up, if you will. you recognize it as a healing potion. He also pulls up.
I will also say that I think we should pick that up.
Yeah, that might be best.
Whoa, hold up, DM. So wait, he slid it onto the table and he's looking at other things, or is that
He's
slid
put it on
onto
the table and he's kind of like shuffling around for some other things that he thinks are fancy things.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Okay,
Hourglass.
okay.
God.
Oh no.
Just hold up.
Oh my god.
Your boy got a higher than a 10, and he just stole it from the guy, and he didn't even notice.
Didn't he?
This is called being a strike. This is what we don't do.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? It's my character. It's not me.
Sure.
All right.
It's not being a strike. What the hell?
As okay, as I'm more so interested in how a blind man stole something off a table without knowing where it was.
That's a good point.
I mean, do you want him to do that with disadvantage? Or just
I mean, he did.
Oh,
Like
okay.
he rolled it twice. It's a flat
Oh.
11. I'm just kind of curious how a blind man found a potion on the table and swiped it.
I mean,
Um,
he heard it being put down.
That's fair. Okay. So, as he kind of shuffles through some stuff, he leans back over the counter and sets an hourglass down on the table and looking around, wondering where the potion's gone. He looks sternly in your all's direction. You didn't by chance happen to move that off my table, did you?
I mean, I didn't.
I'm just wandering around, just kind of like looking at things.
The potion has now disappeared. It would have been 500 gold. I don't see a sack of gold on my table. Perhaps one of you would like to procure this sack of gold. Or do I have to call my nephew?
I mean, I don't have 500 gold if that's what you're asking. I'm not sure.
I don't have my potion sitting here.
Nor do we.
Nor
Make
do
a
I.
deception check, because everybody else in the pub, or in the fucking place, saw Lamb swipe this. He was not super sneaky. He was just on a guy who bent under the thing. So anybody who's lying about this, make a deception check.
Fucking might-
Damn it, Gaynor! Damn it!
Well, maybe you shouldn't steal shit.
I was looking at it, okay?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because
And
I'm blind.
Put it back on the friggin'.
I can't put it back. I can't just put it back
It's fine.
with him seeing me because
So,
he'll kill me.
Time out.
Okay.
You're a blind man who stole a potion and is saying now you're just looking at it?
Which,
Well, no, I can't like, I have to like hear it and stuff. Okay, I can't just like look at it because I can't see it.
okay.
So I guess here's
Ca-
my question: are you shaking it around to hear what it actually is, or have you like?
Yeah,
pocketed
no,
it?
like, okay, so DM to player, I'm not actually stealing it. Okay, if he was dumb enough that he didn't notice it, I would have stolen it, right? As a player to a rule master and a dungeon master, I'm not actually stealing it, but I can't now be like, oh yeah, I got it, because there's going to be problems. So as soon as he like looks away, I'm going to put it back.
You know what? Because Kelma's been listening, sigh-eyeing this mess for a little bit. He's annoyed by it. So since the shopkeeper's not literally staring at Kelma's gonna pull a small ball bearing out of his pocket and see if he could just flick it really hard towards the back of the shop to see if he could get the barkeep, the merchant to turn around or something.
Make a performance check.
Performance?
I mean, you're trying to make a distraction. I would say performance is probably the right way to go.
15's a good roll.
15 is a good roll. Let's see. He hears a small clutter in the back. He shouts out, "Fuck! Periwimple! Would you come here, please?
Fuck.
I need to check something in the back." And from the back, you see a massive 6'4" human man with ripped, billowing muscles kind of stumble out of the back. He
That's
kind of
hot.
walks up and, "Yes, uncle. What do you need? Periwimple, could you please stand in front of the door over there? Don't let anybody in or out. I need to go check something in the back. I heard a ruckus, and it may be one of those pesky ravens or potentially something worse. I'll be right back." And he kind of trods off and shuffles off to the back as the large gentleman blocks and barricades y'all's pathway between the door. Make a perception check for me. Anybody in the room? Everybody in the room? All the room?
I put the health potion back, by the way.
Okay. It is now sitting on the table.
All these perception checks are beautiful.
All the perception checks are beautiful.
Especially mine.
Gaynor, you notice that the gentleman, he's extremely strong. His ripped muscles are evidence of that. But he doesn't seem like he's all there. Seems a little bit dim just from his general demeanor. Like he's kind of like digging in his ear and just kind of like standing there, but he's not really like, he's blocking the door, but he's kind of just like off in his own head type thing.
Right.
I bet he has trouble scratching his back, though.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, he doesn't. He has trouble reaching his toes, but he doesn't have trouble scratching his back. A few moments pass, and Bildrath comes back. Well, seems it was nothing. Maybe just a rat or something. He kind of looks over the table. Ah, well. Periwimple, you can go now. As he kind of notices that the health potion is back on the table. Like I said, the potion itself would be 500 gold pieces. This lovely hourglass here would be 250 gold pieces. I have some general supply of random dads and doodads. I could sell you a vial of oil for 15 gold pieces.
Is there anything? Can I see if there's anything like special about the hourglass, or is it just literally an hourglass?
There is nothing special about the hourglass. It is just typical old, regular trinketry. You don't even need to make a check. Like this is, all this stuff is low quality as hell. It's just
Okay, so it's
extremely overpriced.
right.
Just a bit.
But he will try and convince you that it is the best hourglass in the world.
Right, but it's just an hourglass.
It's just an hourglass. If this does not interest you, I could. And he kind of like shuffles through some stuff. I could part with this fancy lantern. It would be 100 gold.
What's
Or
so fancy
this-
about the lantern?
It creates light, and it's a lantern.
Yeah. I have one. We're cool.
So does my fingers. And I snap my fingers and have a little bit of a flicker of a flame.
Did you come in my store to shop for anything, or are you just window shopping?
Excuse me, good sir. Do you have a supply of herbs here?
I don't have much, but what I do have, and he kind of just goes over his stock. It's a few mundane things, nothing crazy. Stuff you would probably find in. Let's see, what's the herbalist kit? Is that a thing, or am I losing my mind?
Herbalism kit is a thing, yes.
Why am I not seeing a block for it? Am I losing my mind?
all I can say is
contains
that
bark enrichment,
yeah.
it's just gonna
I see it.
walk
I see it. I see it. Okay, there you go. Sorry.
all I can say at this
Um,
point, Kelma has just kind of like left the shop just to stand outside because he's just exasperated by this whole thing right now.
And he's like, I can sell you some of these herbs. It would be about 50 gold.
Hang on.
Whoa, wow.
No, DM, for what?
For the herbs from an herbalism kit. Simply,
Like a full restock.
full restock. I'm getting there. Give me a second. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
For, sorry. I gotta pull that up. Give me a second. Boom, boom. 1 second. Apologies. And after this session right here, we'll just take a quick break before we pick back up because I need to go over some things. We can take a 5-minute. So once this interaction with Bildrath is done, we can pause for a sec. Sorry. It would be 2 quantities of henbane and 2 quantities of lavender sprig. Some other herbs and things, but nothing past that would be of use to you. Then just some generic herbs and things from the fields around the area.
Okay. They're not quite what I'm looking for, but thank you very much. I give him my brightest smile.
Would anyone else like anything else?
You don't seem to have what I'm looking for, but thank you, old man.
And what are you looking for?
You don't have it.
Fair enough. Remember, anything that you want, if you want it badly enough, you will pay for it. Now please, leave my store.
What?
And if you're not going to buy anything, you're clearly wasting my time.
Do you have any weapons?
I already said I do not have weapons.
You said you didn't have armor. You just.
No, you
didn't
said
say
weapons, so you thought
Oh,
about
did
it.
he? Oh, okay. You said. You also said I'm not a blacksmith. I do remember that. I didn't. Okay, cool.
Smile and walk out.
As you all exit the building,
I just calmly start chuckling to myself as everyone starts walking out of the store.
I mean, I was actually looking for herbs. I'm actually saying that to you as you're laughing.
Yeah, I just kind of see me stretching against. He goes, and I just kind of lean back and go, I grew up in a small town, and I've seen this game before. I was just tired of playing.
Ismark kind of looks over to the group. You have everything you need then?
I believe so.
Let us continue on to the manor. It's just down the street, and he kind of points down in this direction. As you all continue walking, you pass by this house right here. What was that?
Oh.
That's Blue not being able to mute your mic properly.
People are bothering me.
That's fine. That's fine. I just want to make sure nobody was trying to interject and do something. Like I don't want to skip over people parts for anything.
And it wasn't a thing on your part, but it's just I know your thing does not reason.
As you get outside of this house, the wailing is now extremely loud, and you can now all tell that it's coming from this building. That is where we're going to take our first and only break. So we'll pause here for now. Everybody take 5, take 10, take what you need, and we will be right back. I have to read over some things, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
Freaking children are bothering me.
Shit happens.
Darn.
Lauren, can I ride your bike? Oh, sure.
The fun thing is, it's not that much different than having Wicked here. The silent learned type. No.
Tried to channel my best Wicked.
Yeah. Trovik's a man of action, not a man of words. So.
This is very true. It's very, very true.
All right, let me. Since we're on the break, I'm gonna mute myself and talk to chat for a bit.
Sounds good.
I'm back at
And
5.
we'll bring it back up at 5:05.
Hello.
We're back.
There we go.
Is everybody back?
Yeah.
Yay!
1, 2, 3,
Over?
4, 5. Cool. Over's back. He came off mute. I assume he's back.
Yep.
All right.
I am here with my.
Okay, everybody's back. We will begin to.
Everybody in the. Yeah.
Kelma swings a staff at.
Oh wow! What a dick. Yeah, no. For the record,
Who's the merchant?
I
know, right?
Yeah. All good. Sorry. Let me get back to my
MTC,
page.
after you told me about that merchant before.
Mhm.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Which one? Yeah.
I'm assuming that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah, that
I'm
was
not going to
his
say anything because
nephew.
I'm expecting to come back here at some point.
Yep. That was his nephew.
You could.
Oh, it was wonderful. Cool.
Yeah, like I said,
I made a good choice.
yeah, like I said, Kelma was just amused by it because, like he mentioned to the people at the party when everyone left the shop, it's like, he grew up in a small town, so seeing games played like this was not uncommon. So he was just like, okay, whatever. Because you want
I
to
get that.
because you want to charge $500 for a potion. Yeah, go whatever's clever.
Well, to be fair, he's the only game in town,
Yes.
and travelers from afar are not commonplace.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But anyway. All right, so now that I've found my spot, I think. Of course, I've lost it again. God damn it. So tired of losing my spot. Here we go. Okay, so let us get back into it. Okay. So y'all are kind of moseying down this street. And this sobbing that you've been hearing, a moaning sob flows through the still gray streets. It almost colors your thoughts with a little bit of sadness. And as you pass by it, you see that the sounds are coming from this darkened interior of a 2-story house. Ismark kind of looks over a little bit concerned, but almost pays it no mind and begins to keep walking a little bit past it.
Kelma grabs him by the shoulder and just says, "Is this normal, or what's going on here?"
You mean the crying?
Yes.
That's Mad Mary. She weeps constantly. I'm not sure anyone knows why. But it seems like she must have been crying for about a week now.
Has anyone went to check on her?
You can certainly try. We're not in a huge rush. It's still daylight outside.
I just kind of look over the party, just kind of like a look of, did you want to check or move on kind of look.
Grandma's just gonna shrug and look indifferent.
Mad Mary the Crying Lady.
What happened?
Oh, I wasn't back.
I'm sorry.
Thought I
Just a quick showing. You're good.
Apologies. Y'all were continuing to walk down the road. The sobbing is coming from a 2-story house on the left-hand side of the road, and Kelma had just stopped Ismark and asked, "Was that normal?" He explained that the house belonged to a lady named Mad Mary, and she had been crying for the better part of a week. Nobody's really sure what the issue is.
Does she have liquid? Like, that's a lot of crying. Kidding.
So dehydrated.
I know.
Maybe that's why she's crying. She's just dehydrated.
We want to stop and investigate if she's dehydrated.
That is up to you. He stands there. The rain's still coming down on you guys, and everybody's getting decently soaked being out here.
I would be not a very good player if I didn't go and investigate her. Not for the simple fact of like crying and like I joked around about her being dehydrated and stuff. I'm actually being serious. Like it would be kind of a bad thing if I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, finally in character for realsies. I think we should check it out. Maybe we can do this town some good.
I just kind of, Kelmon just nods in that direction and just starts walking towards the house.
Or worst comes to worst, we don't figure it out and we just put the crying crazy lady in the merchant's store and we just have her crying for always in eternity and we piss off the merchant.
Wow.
Not a bad idea.
I mean, I'm down with that.
Okay. So you go over to the dark house. You're standing in front of the wooden door.
I just
You
take my...
try to open the door, check the door, or knock.
No, well, I take my staff and I just kind of knock on the door. Give it like, 2 or 3 solid taps, and then I just call out, Hey,
Hey.
what's wrong?
The crying stops for a moment as you knock on the door, and then almost picks back up as soon as you finish knocking. You don't get any response as you shout it out into the residence. As you tap on the door with your staff 3 times, the 3rd time you tap into it, the door does creak open slightly. It doesn't seem like it was completely shut all the way. From what you can see from the little slit, the interior is completely dark. No candlelight or anything like that. It's not dark because the windows aren't all boarded up, so you can see some light kind of going in through the window, but what you see is just basically a living room in darkness.
Gotcha. I look over to the party. I was like, should I open?
I mean, it wasn't locked.
Okay, so I take my stick and I just kind of slowly open the door. I'm not walking in. I'm just kind of push the door open with the stick, and I just call out again. I'm like, "Are you okay?"
The crying gets a little bit louder, and as you open up the door, you can hear it's not coming from the living room that you can now see into. It appears to be coming from the stairwell on the far side of the living room. It seems to be leading up to the 2nd floor. But there's no response other than just louder wailing and crying. And it's almost like tired sobs, like she's been crying herself for God knows how long, and at this point it's almost like a mixture of dry heaving and crying, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
Gwen, maybe you should check in there. You being so silent and assassin-like.
I'm not the one that wants to go in.
That's fair.
I'm legit like standing by his mark on the road still at this point while you've all walked ahead.
Damn it. My suspicions are becoming more true and true every moment.
What, that she doesn't like you?
No, I just have this feeling about something. Yeah.
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 Okay, happy feelings.
Yeah.
All right. I'm just gonna walk in, and I'm just gonna not sneak. I'm just gonna walk in, and I'm just because I have my night vision, and I'm just going to kind of like I'm not going to go up the stairs. I'm just going to kind of in a distance like peer up the stairs to see if I see anything.
And as you walk across the room, you notice that there are some cobwebs in the corners. Seems like nobody's been down to this living room in at least a week or so. As you get to the bottom of the stairs, you kind of peer up, and you see that it looks like it's splits, like a hallway splits sideways, like left and right. And as you look up, the echoing of the crying simply gets louder. It seems like it's coming from the left-hand side of the split, if you had to guesstimate where the sound was reverberating from. But you don't see anything at the top of the stairs other than the flat wall. And the split, obviously.
Gotcha. I walk back to the door again, and I just kind of pass on what I see to the party.
Which is a staircase in the hallway. Okay.
Yeah, just staircase. I hear wailing from the side, and like how it doesn't sound like normal crying. It sounds like almost like dry heaving crying. The whole 9 yards.
Reminds me of like the Blair Witch. We're gonna go down there, and somebody's gonna be like facing the corner.
Yeah. I'm like, hey, I don't like to hear people in danger. But at the same time, this doesn't feel right, and this is not my town. But
Smart kind of looks over at you all. Well,
Can Lam uses sort of finger fire torch device and sort of help Kelma, that's funny, Kelma, see down the basement area?
there is no basement. It's a staircase
The
that goes
dark
up to the second floor.
staircase.
Yeah.
Scariness.
yeah, that's what it is. It's a dark staircase and like crying down a
Goes
hallway.
upwards to the second floor, and then it's like a.
Yeah, can I...
I mean, you can, yeah. Are you using light or using firebolt?
Well, I kind of wanted to use light more so than fire.
That's fine. Yeah, and I mean, if you wander in, you can cast light on something and give a visual. The hallway up the steps just branches off to the left and to the right into two different rooms. Doesn't seem to be anything out of place other than it's a rundown house. I mean, if you guys walk back in and actually like look and inspect that, that's all you see at the bottom of the stairs anyway.
If I was to use my daredevil sense, I
Yes,
could get a really good reading of where this crying lady is.
indeed.
And what else is in this room, yes?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically true sight, so.
Okay, well, I take
You
off
do have
the
two uses
wrapping
of
of
it,
my
so.
eyes. I take the wrapping off my eyes,
Okay.
and I cut my hand, and I wrap my hand with the cloth so that I can become Daredevil.
And with your super sight, you see two rooms on the second floor where the left and the right branch off to. In one room, you see what appears to be a bed and what looks like a crib almost. And then in the other room, you see a bed and a dresser. And in the center of the room with the bed and the dresser, there is a figure that appears to be like a woman of some sort sitting on the ground. She seems to be clutching onto something, and she seems to be rocking back and forth.
She's a heroin addict, did too much heroin, and let her baby die. Well, we're out. Thanks.
Wow.
No.
Is that the play? We're out. Thanks.
What you doing?
I think I'm gonna go talk to her.
As you ascend the stairs and look around into the room, the wailing kind of like quiets a little bit as she like notices that somebody's actually like in the room. She almost doesn't notice that you're there though. She says nothing at first and is kind of still crying and sobbing. Your true sight allows you to see that what she's holding is some sort of stuffed doll.
Arcana check on the doll.
Okay. Make an Arcana check.
Is everyone else outside still?
Jesus.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I believe so.
I think everybody's outside. It's just Lamb in the door. And I think Kelma's at the bottom of the stairs, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, come on, just is like in the bottom of the stairs, and
Just
You left
clarifying.
Lamb to die. What a shame. No.
Just making sure no one else knew.
Yeah, you don't notice anything strange about the doll other than it seems to be a doll.
Getting serious
Possibly a
Witcher
child's
vibes,
toy.
you know.
She's just rocking back and forth, crying and sobbing, hugging the doll at this point.
at this
The
point,
person that I know that has been identified as Mary.
Hmm.
I don't expect you to speak at all. Is there anything that I can do for you?
She kind of plugs up the sobbing for a minute and just kind of like tries to gather herself as she's kind of rocking back and forth and just. Do you know where my daughter is? My daughter. Her name is Gertruda. She's been gone for so long.
Gertula?
Gertruda.
Oh, Gertruda. Okay, it's like
She has
that
heavy accent.
fucking weird
She is
name.
Barovian woman. She has heavy accent.
hey,
I don't
DM,
know where your daughter is.
She begins to sob and wail a little bit more.
Hey, DM.
Yes.
Sorry to break it. I gotta step away for just 1 second. My poor brother's
fine.
elderly dog
Step.
is whining at me, so I gotta take him out
No,
real
you're
quick.
good. So, we can take a 5.
I'm still here. If all else fails, just if kung fu fighting needs to happen, just kung fu fight for me.
Okay, I'll run for you. I got you. Okay. She's kind of rocking back and forth and sobbing. I think she was kidnapped or she ran away. I don't remember. And she's just kind of like in between sobs at this point. I can't make a sobbing sound, so I'm gonna not do that as a GM. But she does talk to you a little bit in between the sobs, though. You didn't come to her with any malice, I'm assuming, so she'll actually like communicate with you. She left the house about a week ago. She never came back. I truly fear the worst. I feel she may have succumbed to the devil, or simply ran away from home, but I would give anything to have my Gertruda back.
Can I insight check her?
Make an insight check. She's hoarse, she's distant, but from what you can tell, she's being forthright for the most part. She definitely looks like a mother who has lost her daughter.
Well, Mad Mary, I will use all parts of me to find your daughter. How old is your daughter?
She just turned 16 not 4 moons ago.
Okay.
And
And she didn't run off with a boy or anything like that.
why would she? I've kept her here her whole life. Kept her here and safe. There would be no boy to run off with.
Hold up, you've kept her in this room her whole life? She's never left? You monster. Bum bum bum.
Wow.
For real, take what seriousness out of that you can. You've kept her in
Yeah.
this room her whole life.
And in this house, she is safe here. She is safe from the demons and the devils. And she kind of, quivering as she says this, begins to break a little bit more and begins to tear up once again.
Sorry, I was talking to my brother who needed a loony for pizza.
Yeah.
Could you
Basically-
repeat all of that?
All of that. She basically says that she kept her daughter here to keep her safe from the demons and the devils. And then her figure begins to break a little bit more and she begins to start crying and almost weeping again.
Yikes.
She kind of clutches the doll and lifts it up a little bit and just kind of points it towards you a little bit and just kind of, this was a doll made in her image. It's not as beautiful as her, but, and then she just kind of breaks down and continues crying. The doll has long flowy black hair, seemingly made of horsehair, and is very well stitched, but it is filled with some sort of material that makes it plushy almost.
I'm gonna bow to her, take off the hand cloth, and begin to head back to the party after sort of the true sight.
Yeah, sort of,
loses
you get
its
down the
sort of-
stairs, it's starting to go away.
Yeah, so I'm gonna as it's going away, I'm gonna make sure that I can sort of find my way back to the party and explain everything that I just witnessed, encountered, and experienced to all of them, and see if they even care.
Oh,
Okay.
man.
Oh man, what's on man?
I want to say something, but he has an intelligence of 8 and a wisdom of 10, so
You wanna
it doesn't
say what you say? What
You
you
wouldn't say it, that's the thing.
You don't know that. He's also ancient.
Okay.
You're playing the character, Blue. Say what you're gonna say.
That doll seems rather suspicious. Did you ask her how long she's had it?
No, I didn't. At all. I was getting scared that y'all were waiting out in the rain so long. Doing nothing. We can go back inside and investigate the doll, if you'd like.
The crying has resumed from inside the manor, by the way.
Sounds to me like she's either run off or we're dealing with the same issue as we were before.
Can I ask Ismar if this is a common occurrence in the town? Like, do people usually go missing or leave or?
Some of the some children have gone missing. Yes. Sometimes it's poor parenting. Sometimes it's over-parenting. But there have been reports of more and more children disappearing from the village. Usually they are not, because I assume you told this to Ismark as well, the information you had. Usually they're
I didn't know.
younger children.
Hmm?
What's that? I was just kidding.
Usually it's younger children that go missing. At about 16, Gertruda seems a bit old to just be disappearing.
Shit.
Can I examine the doll?
The doll is still with Mary in the room. She didn't give it to him or anything.
Okay.
She just held it out, like saying, "This is what my daughter looks like."
Right.
It's a sack doll. It's not
It's nothing special.
right. It's not nearly a accurate representation of what her daughter looked like. It's just a sack doll with black hair. It's like,
Okay,
you did
DM,
get
I'm
the
back.
feeling, Lamb, from talking to her that she's almost delusional at this point. And I assume you would have shared that with everybody too. I forgot to mention that, but yeah. Maybe there is hope for a daughter yet, but as it stands, I feel we may as well be off to the manor.
I
No?
agree. Doesn't seem like there's much we can do here with the little information that we have. Maybe more will come to light in the future.
I agree. Let's move on.
Alright. So, as you all continue, it's probably about midday-ish. Probably about, what do we say, 3, 4 o'clock, something like that? 2, 3 o'clock, something like that?
Yeah, something
You all
like that.
continue down to this manor down here, and you approach. 1 second. I got it. Okay, sorry. As you get to the southernmost part of town, you see a weird-looking mansion that's squatted behind a rusting iron fence. The gates themselves are twisted and torn, and one of the gates lies cast aside down on the ground. The other one's kind of like swinging open lazily. As you approach the manor, make a perception check, actually. Everybody in the group
Everything.
who is perceiving and checking.
Perceive it and check it.
I mean, that's what it's for, right? Trevor,
Wow.
very nice. Gaynor, very nice. Bronwyn. And the Lord.
My
Okay.
perceptions check's been terrible.
So, in general, the Trovic and Gaynor, you notice, well, Trovic, Gaynor, and Branwyn, you notice that the vinery and things like that around the edges of the property is almost kind of like reclaiming the building, if that makes sense. The weeds are choking the grounds in general, and the grass is sparse in places, and there's a lot of mud around the perimeter of the building. For my higher than 20 rollers, Trovic and Gaynor, you notice that there are heavy claw markings on the exterior of the building itself, and there's a very many number of paw prints in the mud around the area. They're very similar to the wolf paw prints that you've seen before, and they seem to track in all directions around this house. The frame of the house itself, everybody notices, is very worn. A lot of the finish has been peeled off of the exterior walls and things like that. There are a few giant black marks on the sides of the building that tell that fires have assailed the mansion at some point. About 3/4 or more of the windows in this building are shattered or knocked in, and they just have no glass in them at all. Most of the first floor windows are also barred with planks of wood from the inside. As Ismark approaches the main entrance of the residence, with you all in tow now on the grounds behind him, he bangs on the front door. Sorry, give me a screen transition here. What is it? It's still daytime, right?
Yeah.
It's daytime.
Correct. Yeah.
It's like only like 2 or 3.
Oh, great. We get a different map.
You get a different map.
It's
And I
black.
can't see anything.
Nobody's on the map yet.
Well, what the hell?
I know, right? Like, it's like, fuck. It's like I'm blind and shit. Like,
God forbid being blind and shit. That sucks. Sounds like a personal problem, don't it? And actually, I think
one day I shall get my eyes back. Wait, did I say that out loud?
Okay, so Ismark gets up to the door, and I will put all of you here now because one at a time. We're all friends here. Play your characters. All the people. Lamb. Boop. Trovic. Boop. Brenwyn. Kilma.
Ah.
And Gaynor. And everybody can see, right?
Yep. Whoa, someone just left.
Yeah, I see the entrance. Yeah.
You get your ass back here, you.
I'm quickly sprinting around.
I'm about to say, you just left.
Pretty sure you don't have the movement to do that. Just saying.
Well, we're not in combat.
He's a very spry black man.
You're still bound by your movement speed if you're not in combat. So basically, if we let you do that, we would all have to wait the time it would take you to do that.
1 hour later.
As you all approach,
1 hour later, the blind man got done with his sprinting.
with his running blindly around and running into trees.
He's like a cat sometimes. You just gotta let him run around.
Ismark approaches the main entrance of the residence, and he bangs heavily on the door, shouting out, Irina! Irina! Open up! I have returned! A long pause follows, and the silence continues. He knocks again. Irina! And a flash of panic can now be heard in his voice as he calls out once more desperately. Are you there? Are you okay? He looks at you all, fearing the worst. And after a moment, you hear something behind the doorframe as it sounds like wood is being moved to open the door. From inside. Chapter 2. There we go. You see, pulling back the door, is a striking young woman with auburn hair. Wow, that is super quiet. I would have intended to do this with y'all. She kind of pulls back the door. Her skin is as tan as Ismark's. And she says, "Oh, brother, I was beginning to worry. After the last few nights, I began to fear the worst." And he kind of consoles her. And, it seems as if we may have been granted a gift from the gods in the way of these adventurers. Let us in. And she kind of like stares at him very concernedly. It's like, what's the password? Apologies. And he kind of looks at her and he's like, windmill. And she's, all right. Then it's good to know that it's you. And she kind of pulls back the door as you all are allowed entry into the residence.
Just your password. Mine would have been kumquat.
I mean, you can come in your quad if you want to.
Are we allowed to
That's
come in?
hot.
Yeah, you are allowed in as she kind of invites everybody in. And you all step now into this center foyer, kind of with Ismark and Irina. There's not enough space for everybody, but y'all can kind of file in if you want to. Moving yourselves in. The interior of the mansion, from what you can see at first glance, is pretty well furnished. All the fixtures and light sources and things like that seem to show signs of heavy wear. The windows that you can see are boarded up from the inside, and you do notice that there's a holy symbol in just about every room. Down the hallway to your left as you were entering, you noticed a side chamber, like a small room, and then you were dragged or led into this foyer area. One second. The foyer that you're standing in is a semi-large room. It has a grand staircase running up the center, and it breaches to a balcony on the second floor. You see an archway over to the left side of the room, and that leads to a dining hall type thing, and a kitchen area more or less. And then you see a double door off to the right side of the room as well. You're not quite sure where that leads, and there's a hallway that goes down into the north of the room. As you all are greeted into the room, she greets you all, asks for your names. I'm going to skip that again, and we'll do the fact that she tells you that her name is Irina. Her and Ismark kind of begin having a conversation where he's making sure she's all right and comforting her. He explains that he has found some adventurers from a far land who were tricked into coming here, but now that they're here, they may well be assistance in getting her to Vallaki. Just to save me talking as NPCs to NPCs, because as fun as that would be,
Right.
I don't have the stomach for it.
Okay, yeah.
Everybody make an insight or perception
Insight
check.
check, absolutely.
Perception check. Perception check.
Nat 20, baby.
Nat 20. Ooh. Ooh, very nice. Jesus God. Everybody with a perception. Okay. Well then, I can give you a lot more. Okay, so she appears a little bit mild in manner, but she seems to have a very strong will from what you're gathering from talking to her. You notice, and I can actually, since you all rolled so high, I can just share you her actual image. Because that's what we'll do here. If that makes sense.
Her image.
God damn it. Here we go. Show to everyone. Everybody sees that image?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And she is very beautiful, but she also has an air about her, like an air of nobility, as Ismark does, but Ismark is much more quiet and reserved. And Irina humbly greets you all and welcomes you to the home. I do apologize that you are brought here in this manner. Ismark's told me that you found the letter that was supposed to be on the gate. Clearly it didn't make it there. And Father would have so liked to have avoided having any more bodies be lost to this world. Of course, he's gone now. And we are what remains. She's wearing her collar extremely high and raised up around her neck. And she kind of like puts her hand on the edge of her collar before kind of looking back at the group. Wow, shit. That's the wrong chapter. There we go. There we go. Okay. She mentions once again that she needs to escape these lands and get to Vallaki. the devil has been preying on this house. He does not come here directly, but he sends his creatures and his minions, and they have assailed the house these many nights. My father, the great Kolyan, died from the stress of dealing with these attacks and invasions. She just kind of like tilts her head down and mourns a little bit. She wanders into the hallway down here and just kind of looks off into this room. I think y'all can see that room, can't you? Yes, you can see that room. Okay.
Okay.
She kind of greets you all, talks with you for a moment, just trying to get to know you a little bit better. I'm curious what all of you were doing here under such strange circumstances.
Kelmal starts giggling. He goes, "That's a very good question. I wish I had an answer."
It is somewhat interesting that the 5 of you, being so different, all came here together. Most of the adventurers who pass through this town, they're of a similar ilk. They seem to travel as a united group. And after the events of last year, we haven't had anybody else come to the town. You all are the first new faces in just over a year or so. She kind of goes back into thinking about stuff. Would you all like some food? I was just preparing lunch, and she kind of steps back in this direction towards this kitchen area.
Kelmal just goes, it's around noon. It's a good time to eat. And I join her.
I'll be right back.
So, as she kind of walks in this way, and Ismark is like, I have something to tend to, and he kind of jaunts upstairs, disappearing into the second floor. Boop.
Kelmal just takes a seat at the table.
Okay. I'm gonna move Lamb in here for the time, since he's not moving. But yeah, no. She kind of prepares and sets out some food and things like that. There are plates already set for more guests than could possibly be set at this table. And you all sit down. And she prepares what is not a great meal, but it's passable, especially that y'all haven't eaten anything all day and are a bottle of wine or so into being a little bit fun-sized. Ismark will be back soon, I trust. But it is good to have fresh faces. It's a shame that my father was not here to see you arrive. It would have been a great blessing on his soul to have seen new adventures.
I agree. I was looking forward to seeing your father too.
She kind of puts her head down. You see a small tear drip out of one of her eyes, but other than that, it's just in passing. As you all prepare to eat, and you're free to talk, ask questions, or do anything you want to do, obviously. As a DM, I'm saying this.
I have a question. The
Yes.
religious symbols everywhere, do I recognize them?
Yes, you do actually.
Okay.
And you are also, as you notice some of the religious symbols, you're almost accosted by a voice in your head. It's like, "Hey, I know that one."
Yeah, don't we?
Huh. And they are clearly symbols to the Morning Lord. And they are perched in every room. One is on the hearth here. Another one was on the wall over here. Like literally every room has at least 1 to 2 in the residence.
Do I notice him muttering to himself?
Make a perception check. Just for funsies.
Ooh!
Oh,
Yes,
damn.
you do notice him muttering to himself.
Stay there for a minute.
Okay. Sorry. She kind of reinforces the fact that I need to. Ismark thinks it's best if I leave Barovia. The shadow of the castle looming down over this land is not doing our family any favors. She's kind of eating and conversing with you all a little bit.
Indeed, to have drawn the affections of such a creature, I certainly want to be away myself.
I don't know why he seeks me out. I am nothing special. I'm simply the daughter of a burgomaster. His creatures seem to have assailed the property. All manner of wolves and undead and other creatures, night after night. I can only assume to get to me.
Would it be wise to stay another night? Leave in the morning?
Since my, as you mentioned, leave in the morning, she kind of gets a sterner look on her face and just, I will not leave the land of Barovia without having my father be properly buried. And you notice now, you should have done this before, but you notice now, because this was technically open, I apologize. Wow, really? Okay, cool. You notice now, in the den down here, the room that she had looked in previously, you do see a casket. And she kind of looks down into that room and just, I won't leave before he's properly buried at the cemetery. However, since his death, the creatures have not shown up. They have not accosted the house. I don't know if it was a cruel trick played by the devil, or if he achieved his objective, but he's just... It's been 3 days now, and no creatures have come.
Nim, check your messages.
Kelmal, but while he's stuffing his face, he just kind of leans forward and he just says, "Well, if that's the case, we can only suspect that these monsters are going to arrive the moment your father is buried. So it might be best to stay the night, wake up early, do the rites, and immediately leave."
It may be best indeed. And would you help me escort his body to the cemetery? No one in town will come anywhere near. They're all scared. They won't have anything to do with the burgomaster or his body for fear of retaliation.
Kelmal just looks at the group. Kelmal just simply shrugs and just goes, "My only goal is to get out of this area. If this leads to that, I'll be happy to help."
I agree.
However, there are more plights on this town than just my father's passing, sadly. And Ismark kind of steps back in the room at this point, sitting down to the table as well. Of course, my controls are shit, so here we go. Nope. Oh, there we go. And he kind of takes a seat over here as well, and begins to eat. So, what is the plan then? Do we... And she kind of explains that at least Kelma has offered to help bury their father, which a sigh of relief kind of comes across his face. She kind of picks back up.
Me wandering off to.
He's our blind bug's running around again.
Might just
He's like,
remove your
it's like I'm
control.
crazy or something. Like I just get up and just start like running places.
Where in the hell did you even go?
And you sit me down and like you hold me close. You put like handcuffs on, just having a normal conversation.
Where in the hell are you?
I don't know. He just left.
I'm back here.
There he is.
Ridiculous.
I don't know if any of you have seen Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but that scene where he gets the lemon hat on or whatever.
Oh yeah.
He's so sorry. And he like points one direction or whatever, and he just like, walks off, and then Ford's like, "Yeah, that should do him good for like 5 minutes or so." Super funny. I love that fucking movie.
Anyway, she kind of just finishes the meal with everybody. It's probably about 4 or 5 o'clock at this point. Sun's still in the sky, but not well visible. Sunlight is coming in through the windows at this point. Ismark kind of looks over to the group and mentions that, like you had previously talked about, the number of children in town seem to have diminished. Irina kind of goes into recounting the tale of the last adventurers that arrived in town. As she had mentioned that it was about a year or so ago since the last adventurers have wandered through. Not really comparing you guys to them, but just like mentioning that there were a few brave warriors and a very powerful wizard who came into town and seemed to rally the people and raise their spirits. They formed a decent-sized militia and tried to assault the castle on the hill. With their defeat also came the defeat of the townsfolk. They are now extremely reserved after having lost so many in their numbers. And just in kind of regards to why the house is so, or why the village is kind of boarded up and barren and shit. Does anybody else have any questions that you'd like to ask over a early dinner? Conversation pieces, points, things?
Kelma has nothing. He's, like I said, his number one focus is to kind of get moving. So,
Gotcha.
How long is the journey to the place of stay?
To Valaki, it's about 3 days travel down the Svalak road.
3 days.
The travel will be potentially dangerous. There are a few places to stop along the way, but for the most part, I think we'll be able to make it in such large numbers.
Kelma leans at the table again, looks at the brother and sister, and says, if this is going to be dangerous and you need our help, I have one very important question. Can you defend yourself?
Ismark kind of smiles meekly. I am decent with a sword. And Irina kind of nods. And I've had my fair share of training as well. We
Good.
won't be completely useless to you.
Come on, just nods. It's kind of like
Gather
a
that they have some semblance of combat knowledge.
good. Oh,
It's not just a escort helpless people mission.
that's kind of what I was getting down to. Like,
I figured. As for the payment,
Payment.
indeed, you all are doing us a service, and like I said, anything in the manor would be yours to get my sister safely to Vallaki.
Armor.
Since I don't see that you would be coming back, calm yourself. I'm about to take away your movement privileges.
Sorry.
So anyway, no, you're good. I'm about to take away your sight. That way you'll just be fucking moving around. That's even better.
Well, that's actually why I keep moving around, because I actually kind of
Okay,
hate
yeah,
this
walls work
damn
okay.
like thing, because I can't see this whole map, because I want to see the artwork.
On purpose.
I know.
Yeah, that's what dynamic lighting is for.
It is
mhm.
on purpose.
Yep.
Mhm.
However,
Yay.
there you go. Now that y'all have been in the manor for a minute, just so that way your audiences don't get bored by blacklight.
Thank you.
Ismark kind of looks at the group and anything of value you find to use in the manor is yours. And Irina kind of looks at him like, you can't give it all away. And he's like, it's for a service. They were brought here against their will. The least we can do is give them the run of the house. There's a library across the way, and he kind of motions in this direction. And there are a few more rooms that we don't have much, other than, and he kind of throws a sack of gold coins down on the table, and it is a very hefty pouch. He just kind of throws it in the middle of you guys here. It's a pretty large pouch. It's probably about 10-pound pouch of gold.
Mm.
It just kind of clinks as it lands on the table. This is the majority of the family savings. We would be honored if you would take it for your service. And Irina, looking very skeptical at this point, but still kind of going along with it, just kind of nods and goes along with it, more or less.
Cool.
There are rooms upstairs. There's the... and at this point, it's almost like giving you a tour without giving you a tour.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
There's a study, there's a greenhouse type thing back here in the back, and then this is obviously the foyer up front. And then you got the upstairs. He
I'm so-
mentions that his workshop is back here in the back corner as well. They basically give you more or less the run of the place. What would you like to do? Where would you like to go? There's also an upstairs. So
I want to go to the library.
Same.
make yourselves where you want to go. Okay.
What was the upstairs?
Can you add the upstairs to this, or
I will move people to the upstairs who want to go to the upstairs.
Sure, I'll go to the upstairs right now.
I will also go upstairs.
Okay. Come
Books
I'll
are-
go to the library.
Anyone take the money?
It's still sitting on the table, but
Okay. Well, just, I mean, I'll just
not-
leave. I'll just leave it for
they're
right
not
now.
taking it away after you have it sitting on the table.
Yeah.
It's y'all's basically.
Yeah.
You can check the bag if you want. Nobody's checked.
Yeah, I'll
That's
check.
fine.
I'll check the bag and count out what's in there, at least. So
You count about roughly 500 or so gold pieces if you count them all. It's a pretty hefty bag. The gold pieces, however, do have a strange insignia on one side of them. Like you're used to coins of the realm having certain stamp and marking. These all have the one-sided face of a sharp, jagged-faced man with dark, like flowing hair down the back of it. Very foreign to you, but it's all gold. Still gold.
Yeah.
Library people, if you could do me a solid and make me a... What did I call for this? Sorry. An investigation check. And we'll go to the second floor in just a second.
oh wow.
What was that roll? Oh, it did. Okay.
What was I supposed to roll up when I go to the library?
Investigation.
Investigation.
There you go.
Okay.
You did good.
Oh, you know.
Oh my God.
Wow. Oh, wow, Trovic.
I was like, yes, -1 intelligence. Oh no.
Oh, no.
He sits there looking at a book, and we're like, that book doesn't have words in it.
Where
So
are?
Vic goes over and picks up the one book that has all the pretty pictures.
Yeah, well, just
and flip through
he
it.
just
Oh,
flips
I was
it.
imagining picking up the book and turning it upside down. It's like, there you go.
Yeah. What,
It is a zero.
yeah.
I
What
feel
was
like
what
that.
was zero? It's not even pretty pictures. It's like, what is book?
Nas on it.
Oh my god. Yay, wicked.
Just gives it a lick.
Yeah, there you go.
The other two of you, as you are looking around the bookshelves and carefully looking at some of the different tomes and texts, you find several books, some of which are drab, some of which are more interesting. You find a book, and I'll just tell it to both of you because I guess both of you would have seen these books. You find a book called Human? ? You find another book that's title is Arg, a barbarian guide to clobbering your enemies.
Wow.
There's a book called To Kill a Manticore.
Wow.
There's another book called Harold Haversham's Holistic Handbook of Healing. And
This
you
is
can
amazing.
Look into any of these books if you want to.
Definitely
There's
want the first one.
Yeah, I want to
first
read the first one. Yeah.
As you flip through the first one, you gather that it's more or less a story about an ogre who, despite his incompetence, convinced everyone that he was actually a very tall human. He became
As soon as I
king.
see that it's about an ogre, I put the book down. Bye.
There's also another book that does not have a title. It's just a blank leather binding of a book. And then there's another book,
Mysteries of the Universe.
Names to Run Away From.
Definitely want to look at the blank one.
Can I look at the healing one?
Sure. So the healing one, at first, it appears to be a beginner's guide to crafting potions. You flip through it a little bit more, and it seems like the author is very vain. The book becomes more and more about the fact that all ailments are purely mental. You flip to a section that details an account where the author was treating a man for a broken arm, and he healed it through weekly mental therapy sessions. The book,
Okay.
it's simply starts to be a book about making potions, and it trails off into an author kind of just like blabbing and gravel.
I can heal this person by doing nothing and letting the body heal itself.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Oh yeah. So I guess we're looking at the blank book now.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. I mean, it's novels in a library, right?
Right.
The untitled book, as you open it up, has no text in it. You flip a page or two, and then in between the pages, for about 3/4 worth of the pages, there's a small hole cut, and inside the small hole is a key, a small iron key with like 3 little loops at the top.
I try to pocket it before he sees.
I guess let him
Damn.
make a perception check. Get on.
Nope.
Definitely do it.
Slides the key into a pockets. And then the now empty book, Gaynor, if you look at it as well, it's a book with a hole in the center of it.
That's strange.
I wonder what was here.
You wonder, and you ponder.
It's been a
Other than that, the books seem to just be texts and tomes. Some more useful than others, but nothing standoutish. Hold on one second. Let me. Y'all got pretty high on those, so let me.
so high.
What was yours on that? I'm sorry, Gaynor. It was
18.
18. Yeah, that was enough.
When was it
You notice that
going
the library also has a second floor with a balcony and things like that. A few more books that y'all stumble over. Nim, you find a book called Bahamut Shrugged. And Trovik runs across a book called 3 Little Goblins. However, Gaynor, you find a book titled Diamonds in the Rough.
Jesus.
As you flip through that book, it's not exactly what you think it would be. Instead, it seems to be a tome on crafting warlock spells.
Hey.
Cool.
If you want to take a hard look at it, you definitely could.
I want to.
So basically, what you gather from reading the tome, almost in its entirety, taking a couple of hours to do so, is the book includes the spells Frostbite, Charm Person, and Hold Person. Of which, with little recompense, you could add to your megandering of spells, if you want to figure out how to do that.
Yeah, I want to figure out how to do that.
Or I'll do it after the session, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. We'll do that after the session.
Yeah, basically, it gives you the knowledge of crafting these spells and the arcane workings of how to use them.
Right, yeah.
Because that was a pretty high roll. And Nim, you found the key. Now I'm going to switch my screen, because I can only see one screen at a time, even though I can move y'all to the second floor. Second floor, people, y'all are not here. Because of course you're not, because
Nope.
I didn't do my job as a DM. Well, good, y'all didn't see the second floor then, so now I don't feel like I was wasting my time.
Oh no,
Did
no.
we find-
Just sitting on black screens.
Yeah.
Did we find those last books on the second floor? Or just
No, there are other books higher up on the second floor, but you notice that there's a balcony
Oh, okay, gotcha.
that is accessible from the second floor in this library. So I'm gonna do Kilma.
Drovik just finds a book that's recipes and has pictures and starts eating it.
Paper good. This food is yummy.
It doesn't taste how it looks.
This was about pigs.
As you all get to the second floor, and let me not have this illumination on here because it's the same problem that we were having. Boop. There we go. As you all make your way to the second floor, you notice a number of rooms off to this hallway in the north part. You also see another set of double doors here, presumably leading to the same library, and some more rooms off in the bottom section and on the left-hand side of the building. What would y'all like to do on the second floor?
Yeah, purple table room.
Purple table room it is. As you enter this purple table room, and Kelma, if you want to do something as well, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, I'm gonna enter this little garden.
The garden is actually on the first floor.
Oh, never mind.
Basically, these are all windows looking over
Oh, gotcha. Then I'm gonna enter.
this line around the floor.
Oh.
Yeah, you have 2 rooms. Each one of these things is basically a door. So if that
Okay,
helps
so-
visually,
So
the doors here are trash, but it's okay because the guy who made the map's amazing. Um,
yeah, I can't go into
So-
this room.
okay.
I'm trying to go
So,
to the room in the
little
bu-
lord,
Yeah.
this particular chamber, you see the circular purple desk, obviously. Well, you don't see it, but you feel around and find that there is a circular desk, a bit more blind man stumbling, and you feel what appears to be an ocular lens of some kind.
Perfect. A lens that I can see something, and I'm blind. Wonderful.
It's a telescope, but telescope there, and then you fumble around a little bit more and you feel a desk over here. The desk seems to have a couple bits of paper and things like that on it. And as you're feeling around and touching this telescope, you realize that it's like snapped in the middle.
Okay. Can I attempt to repair it?
That's a tall order. What would the step be to repair something, I wonder? I guess it would be... Do you have Tinker's tools or anything like that? 'Cause this would be heavy disadvantage.
Tinker's tools? I think I actually do. Equipment.
I do not see.
Yeah, tinderbox. That's all I have.
Yeah, no. So make a sleight of hand check with disadvantage.
Super disadvantage.
There is no super disadvantage, so you just get the 1.
15.
15.
Nice.
You fumble with it for a while. You think you fixed it. You're not entirely sure. You put the 2 snapped separate pieces back together and kind of like force them back together. You're obviously not sure if it actually works as a telescope anymore, but you're pretty confident that you've repaired it to the best of your ability.
Cool.
And Kelma, you are... Which room are you going in?
I was
Top or
going.
bottom?
Yeah, I was going to go to the one below. Big,
that's right.
like master
Doors
bed.
actually have meaning there. There you
Yeah.
Go for it. Yep,
I'll be
you
right
can
back.
move now.
Go for what? Oh,
Sorry,
okay.
the doors were preventing you from moving.
Yeah, yeah. I
These
was.
doors.
Yeah. Doors were my enemy.
Yep, doors always are. As you step into this room, sorry, H's bedroom 2. You see a queen-size bed in the center of the room. There are multiple desks and tables in the corners, and you see that this room also has a washroom of sorts connected to it. This seems to be one of the main bed chambers. As you look around the room a little bit, make a perception check for me.
All right. Bye-bye.
Or actually, you're in the room already, so make an investigation check for me.
Investigation check. Okay.
Yeah, we'll do that. Oh my god,
13.
13. You look around, you notice that there's a desk in the northern corner of the room that has a chair at it. There's a couple dressers and things like that. You go over to the table with the chair, and you look over the table. There's a number of pieces of parchment that seem to mention proper affairs of governing in the village. One's a document of collected taxes, another one an inventory of livestock and things like that. It's all pretty much paperwork. You do notice that under the table is what appears to be a small safe.
Mm.
The safe in question seems to have a keyhole on it and doesn't seem to be accessible.
Gotcha.
The room has a couple of cobwebs in the corner. Doesn't seem like anybody's been in here in a minute or 2.
Got it.
Other
So,
than that, it's just a decent-sized room.
okay. Well, I'm just gonna take a mental note of that safe.
Okay.
Because I don't think I have any type of like, because I'm not a thief. I'm
All right. I mean, there are other ways to get a safe open. You can always try and break it open or attempt to pick it even without tools. It would just be a disadvantage check.
yeah.
It's up to you.
No, I'm okay. Like it's one of those that, and I'm like being invited at home, and I'm just not gonna start breaking people's stuff.
I understand that.
So I'm going to, just because where I am, I'm going to head to the library,
Oh, okay.
the second floor, and just kind of look around the library and just see if there's anything there interesting.
Yep, and you can do so. Oh wow, they didn't copy this over. I'm sorry. So, apologies. I need to do this real quick because it didn't do it, and I'm kind of mad that it didn't do it. Oh, nope.
Do I see the rest of the people downstairs? Since this is like,
Yeah, you would.
yeah.
So on the other side of this red thing, because oh no, shit. Yeah, because that's basically the balcony.
Gotcha.
It's just not drawn
Gotcha.
in for some reason.
Yeah.
And you notice that there are books that pretty much line the walls and the shelves.
Okay.
There's a window on this side that leads outside,
Mm-hmm.
and you can look peruse. But yeah, you do look down and you see the other people downstairs.
All right.
Speaking
So
of the people downstairs, what are you all doing? And Sissy, if you want to check another room, you're more than welcome to. I'm just going to switch back to the people downstairs for a second. Downstairs
What's this room again?
Which room? I'm sorry.
The room off of the
That
atrium?
is a study of sorts. Who died?
Okay.
Sissy died? No.
Yes, you did.
Well, that's a shame.
Then this is his workshop?
Oh, his entire stream died.
oh
Might
Oh.
be his internet. He's
Yeah.
on his phone.
oh
That's
gotcha.
rough. Yeah, just let us know. Sorry, what did you say? I apologize.
This is his workshop?
Yeah, that is a workshop, yes.
Can I check out the workshop?
Can't
Sure.
go through walls.
Not trying to. I'm trying to go up the hallway.
I know.
Stopping me.
It's walls. Call me shit. You know, I made all these beautiful walls and people are bitching about vision. Fuck you guys.
I wasn't bitching.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you enter into a all this scrolling. It's a tiny little workshop. There's a crafting table, a small furnace. There seems to be a small chamber back behind it as well that seems to be mostly for extra resources, equipment, tools, and things. It's basically the essence of a crafting table in front of you.
Uh-huh.
There are some small little, like, almost like jeweler's tools.
Okay.
Seems like this is just a general hobby room for the most part.
Okay.
If you want to check the back room, you can.
Yeah. I'll see what's back here.
Okay. In the back room, you find a tiny hammer, some fine bits of like copper wire, and a lot of half-empty vials of what you assume to be adhesive of some sort, and a couple vials of like dyed liquid that appear to be paint. But nothing
Great interest. Gotcha.
nothing super valuable. It just seems to be like this is where any hobbies got done or made.
Alright. Cool.
Make a perception check for me, actually.
Sure. 6.
As you walk back out, kind of passing by one of the tables, you don't really notice anything.
Alright, cool.
Branwen, are you doing anything else?
I would like to go. Yeah.
Going in here. So that requires going to the study to go
Oh,
up
going
here.
through the study first. I'm investigating the study first.
Sorry. I will do all the doors. All the doors. All the doors. All the doors. There we go. As you enter the study, God, I have all this written out. It seems useless. You see the 2 chairs and the desk in the corner. Fireplace kind of in the wall. And do you investigate the study, or are you just walking through?
I'm investigating. I want to see if there's anywhere in the study that fits my key.
Make an investigation check to see if anything fits the key.
I'm pulling up all the wrong things.
That's
Investigate.
what I've been doing all session. And we'll probably stop soon hereafter once we get this part done. 17. Alright. As you look around, you don't really notice any boxes or things that may house your key, if that makes sense. But you do check around the desk up here, and it has a small bookshelf behind it as well. You're flipping through some of the drawers in the desk, and you notice a little bit of parchment, quill, and then as you open up one of the drawers and you're kind of checking around in it, you notice that there's a false compartment in one of the drawers. As you kind of open that up and look into it, you see a small platinum ring sitting right beside a holy symbol that appears to be a very radiant, like multi-pointed sun.
Is that different to the ones around the house?
Similar. This one
Okay.
looks a little bit more lavish, but it's in the same vein of holy symbols. Most of the holy symbols that you all have seen on the walls have been the sun or
Okay, yeah,
like a torch type thing. Yeah, very much.
Oh my god, we are torch.
It all comes back around full circle.
I'm gonna grab both.
Okay. And you proceed on to the greenhouse, in which you notice there is the glass panes on the far side, and multiple rooms from this house seem to look in on this greenhouse. It's a moderate-sized greenhouse. You can see out into the backyard of the manor through the windows. You do notice. Make a nature check for me. It's not hard. It's a low check, but make a nature check for me.
Ooh.
I had a feeling.
You notice a few plants in a line that seem to be like the stems and the leaves of them have like 3 round leaves like kind of coming off of them, and there seems to be 3 of those in a line. You notice out of the corner of your eye in this area what appear to be stalks of a plant you are somewhat familiar with.
Oh.
And
I was gonna ask if there was anything.
yes, I figured. There is the stalks are of henbane, which you would recognize pretty easily. And that's all you find in the greenhouse. You do notice that this window here is completely shattered in, and the glass has been
Sorry, which one?
here.
Okay.
Trovik, are you doing anything in these rooms?
He's
Or
grown
in-
tired of eating food and books.
Hmm.
So
Eating food and books, tired.
he
You're
headed out.
standing in a glassy hallway.
Yeah, he went this way and he started looking outside through each window and seeing what's
Make
out
a
there.
perception check for me. Did Sissy's whole thing just crash hard? I think it did.
Yep. It's just outdoors.
That's fine. We're about to finish in a second anyway. Yep. It's pretty ugly day outside. It's shitty and rainy, and the clouds are kind of coming in heavy overhead. That's about all he sees.
Can I search the
And,
library? Did I been in?
Yes. Sorry, I'm coming back to you.
Yeah,
Back to the library. I've got to scroll pages here.
no problem.
Splitting the party is infuriating on this thing, by the way.
No problem.
Yeah, so make an investigation check in the library for floor 2.
All right. 19.
Good shit, sir. So as you're looking through some of these books, you find a tome that reads Wager Like a Winner. A couple books later, you flip through one that's the Geographica Gelatinosa. And the subtext title of the book is 101 Oozes and How to Avoid Them. You find another book called Memoirs of a Goblin. And you find a limited edition copy of a book called Floorboards and Fortresses. And that is... you also find a book that kind of catches your interest, keeps your interest for a little bit longer than it probably should. It's a book called Bordrick's Fantastic Adventure, and this is a Dwarven choose-your-own-adventure book with multiple endings.
I love those books.
Yep, that's what you find.
Okay. I kind of as I'm kind of like flipping through and kind of like reading these books, kind of like I just kind of yell down from the banister. I go, anyone find anything useful? I don't know who's still in the library.
Yeah, they've all left the library.
Okay, so I yelled, saw people down there, and by the time I yelled out, everyone left. So I'm just talking to myself in the library.
Yeah, I mean, we could retcon that, and anybody could respond if they wanted to.
Nah,
it's up to you guys.
I'm the one who nodded at a blind guy, so we could just kind of go with that.
This is very true. And the blind guy's not here, sadly. Yeah, no, that's kind of rough. We'll say for the purposes of speeding things up a little bit here, you gain the gather of most of the house and the manor. I'm assuming downstairs people would eventually want to go upstairs, check out the entirety of the place.
Same thing with the upstairs people. We'll want to go downstairs.
Right, and same thing. And the library houses more and more books and tomes, none of which seem particularly useful, but all the same, they're books and tomes. And I will put the other people over here, so that way we can all see the shit, because this will just be the upstairs, and this is probably where we're going to leave it off since we don't have Sissy anymore.
Yeah.
But I'm going to poop.
I will mention, since we were all kind of wandering around, that question I asked is like, hey, did anyone find something? And the only thing I will tell them is that I found a safe. As we kind of cross paths, I'll kind of move myself over like into things.
Yeah, I feel that. And actually, I'll just get rid of all doors because fuck doors.
Exactly, I agree with that sentiment. Fuck doors.
Sorry, it's a DM tool that didn't go as I wanted it to, which is fine.
No, it's fine. I mean, it's going to come into play somewhere. Yeah, at one point.
Yeah, but basically, yeah, you all have the run of the first and second floor and things like that. This seems to kind of be a mundane bedroom. Kelma does mention to the group that there was a safe in the main bedroom. Does anybody else tell Kelma anything they found? As he asked.
Found some books to ponder.
Found a book of food. Didn't taste very good.
Kelma just kind of stares at Trovic going, okay.
And anybody who went back into the room with the looking glass in it would notice that the telescope itself is almost mended with duct tape. Does not look like it was done it was done as well as it could have been done, but it was it was patched by a blind man. It doesn't look very Well
even
done.
like I said,
You're,
I
you're more surprised that it got patched by the blind man.
Yeah, I mentioned the safe thing to everybody, but I kind of, as I go downstairs, I head to that workshop, and I just kind of do my own search around.
Yeah, absolutely. Make an investigation check in the workshop, I guess.
And when people are off milling,
Ooh,
I
You and your sneaky ass.
19.
Nice.
oh,
I know, but you play it too well. So, in the workshop, you don't find too much more. You do notice that there's a small golden pendant on the table that seems to have been passed by Gaynor, or whoever inspected this room firsthand.
Yeah.
it was.
But it seems to be like it has a small symbol of a raven on the center of it. And it's probably about double the size of a $50, if that makes sense. And it's on a small golden chain.
I pocket it. I'm just like, oh, shiny.
Yeah, that's a shiny.
It's like Flair's clock necklace.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of, yeah. And other than that, the room's pretty much already been searched. It's just general crafting equipment and things. Nothing of supreme value in it. The jeweler's tools are kind of worn and weird. Brandon, you said you were going for the safe in secret?
Oh yeah.
Okay. As you bend down, trying, I would assume, your key in the safe.
Oh yeah.
Guest room B. Well, that's fun. We are actually going to leave it there.
Oh.
Okay.
And we'll pick it up next week.
Everyone dies.
Oh. Okay.
Nim, make a dexterity saving throw.
I know. Nim, make like 5 death saving throws.